Telegraph still in the joint lead.
I think we need to take a... Oh, it's Minh Le against Magnus Carlsen.
Oh.
Yeah, I know Magnus has a lot of respect for Minh Le. I played Minh Le last year in the Olympiad, and I asked Magnus, like, what do you think about him? And he was just like, yeah, he's very good. Not
And that was what you got? You got nothing else?
I didn't get anything else.
Very encouraging.
It's like not play this, go there, do this, whatever, just he's good.
Yeah, I got
Good
scared
luck.
and lost.
He does that, Magnus. He's not the best like motivational.
Yeah, it's very true. It happened to me once also against Anton Korobov. He just said the same thing and I lost. Should not ask.
And this is your Olympic teammate. Wow.
It's.
I mean, I think he's just trying to be objective, but it's probably not what you want to hear before the game.
True.
Can you imagine, like, if Magnus at one point decides to step down from playing so much, becomes a coach, and he has those kind of motivational approaches?
Good luck. You're gonna need it.
I mean, I guess it's a good thing that when Kasparov decided to take on someone and actually teach them, who, I may be wrong, but does seem to have quite the same objective approach as Magnus does at times, that it was someone like Magnus Carlsen who's able to take that in.
Mm-hmm. Tough love. I think they're both fans of the brutal honesty. And in the meantime, it's back to...
back to the kid, yeah. We was just going to say.
King's Indian defense strikes again. Magnus playing a more open variation now. It's the Fianchetto variation for white, with pawns being traded off in the center early. And these types of position are very, very well explored. Normally, black is a bit cramped. Objectively, maybe slightly worse, but there's some pressure on this diagonal. The white king is often a bit more open long term, if Magnus gets that far.
I personally don't find it that easy to play these types of positions for white in blitz. Like, white is objectively better because they have more space. But at the same time, black is very solid, has jumping knights. So I think it's a good blitz opening for black. What do you think, David?
Yeah, I fully agree. Like, I've got a very good score with white in classical chess from these openings, but I've had some big playoff games, rapid blitz games, where it's just gone horribly wrong. I've been mated. So I fully agree. Fully agree with the statement there, as we see some fantastic puns come in from the chat.
Felice Naviduda. I laughed. I'm sorry, I'm simple.
That's impressive. That is impressive. Felice Naviduda. And, okay.
I think Magnus would like that one.
Yeah, Magnus loves a good pun.
Oh, yeah.
A bit of wordplay. And it's the calm before the storm, these types of positions. It's always a bit of maneuvering. Like, white is trying to milk the space advantage, black is trying to set up some threats, set up some counterplay, but eventually it always explodes.
But Magnus down on the clock now, almost 1 minute.
Yeah, I feel like G5 is a bit of a committal decision.
Wow, G4.
G4. I mean, he had the same actually in the second game of the tournament as G5, G4 structure.
He realized he played
here,
G6 on move 3, and then he had to correct it by...
But you definitely cannot get away with anything against everything. I mean, against the Minh Le is very dangerous. Let's see what Magnus is going to do here. It's a bit annoying for him that the pawn on C7 is hanging in a lot of variations. Like, you would want to activate the queen, but then keep an eye on the pawn. At knight to D7. Probably going to try to maneuver the knight to E5, which is a good square.
Yeah, that's almost an outpost, since the white pawns cannot challenge without en passant happening. But the knights are looking very strong for white as well right now. What next for Minh Le? Does he try and trade off the dark squared bishops? Does he just centralize his rooks? There we go.
Yeah, that's a very logical move. Magnus plays knight to E5. Now Minh Le can bring his rook to D1.
Ooh.
Plays queen E2.
Is he really thinking about taking this knight and just grabbing a pawn? That pawn does stick out a bit.
Yeah.
Magnus defends it. The rook centralizes. It's all about those knights, though. It's like you said, Arian, like this... I mean, this opening, this structure, normally if you get a knight to b5 while black has still got a pawn on c7, meaning they can't move the c or d pawns, then it's just a bit uncomfortable for black. Yeah,
it's hard to find a plan for black. Magnus plays a4, but that's like a sign of not exactly being sure what to do. And Minh Le now maneuvering the knight to f5.
Looking strong.
Maybe knight back to c5 now. Plays h3. Oh, this is actually a clever move probably, because now there's some tactics happening. Like if you play pawn to b3, you can take the knight and jump with the knight to f3. The Minh doesn't allow that.
Ooh, he gets Magnus's dark squared bishop. That's normally the heart and soul of the King's Indian defense, especially with White's bishop on c3. It feels like long term on the dark squares, Magnus is going to be very weak. The White queen can come in a bit later as well.
Does Magnus have enough time to play this position?
It's borderline. I think this last move helped him. It's become a bit more forcing now.
Yeah, it's all about the bishop on g2. Magnus is banking on the fact that bishop on g2 is just locked out of the game, and if that gets to activity, White was doing well, but that bishop is actually just very bad, pointing at its own pawn on e4. The knight on e5 is strong. The last couple of moves have definitely gone Magnus's way. It's so weird in Magnus's game. Like it looks bad, and then out of nowhere, he suddenly has a good position. Like I don't know how he does it.
I've been watching MVL.
Yeah.
Presence under the Naponia tree.
Oh wow!
You like that, huh, David? Howell.
You got
Oh
me.
boy.
That made me laugh a bit too much, more than I should admit. But yeah, Magnus has turned it around now and is much, much better. He's also a pawn up after Minh Le blundered the c4 pawn a few moves ago. And surprisingly, the knights are more than powerful enough to counter against the bishops. Magnus here even improves his rook.
Such a precise move.
Yeah, everything's covered, everything's protected, so he can get away with this. And there's no counters, and Minh Le has to move his queen away. He's going to be facing a position of pawn down and with a bad bishop against a very, very good knight. And
Maybe he should sacrifice the queen.
do it. Move the bishop.
Yeah. At least try to create some mess, because if you move the queen and black takes with the rook on e5, that's a horrible position for White. So tries to create some imbalance.
Yeah.
Again, the problem remains with the bishop on g2. If that bishop would be on f5, for instance, I think this would be decent position for White, but here it's just hard to play with only the bishop and the bishop on f6 and the rook on e2.
You really know Minh Le is in trouble when he starts twirling faster.
Yeah, and it gets faster and faster. You should see him twirl when he's got 5 seconds on the clock. The multitasking skills. But Magnus, in the meantime, he's fended off any checkmate ghosts, and he's going to evict the white bishop. He's going to start taking pawns in the near future. And this should be the beginning of the end. Yeah, the knight and queen just team up so well. Minh Le, I think he's shot his last shot. And
Probably just going to take on a2.
there we go.
Tom here from Twitch really liked that rook to a5 move.
Yeah, that was classy. Classy stuff from Magnus. And also this last move, a clincher.
f5 here.
Yeah, there's going to be mating nets now woven around the white king. And it feels like the end. I still don't see a knockout blow.
Yeah, I think a knight is going to land on e3, and that's going to create some very dangerous threats.
Or maybe he'll just push the b pawn.
Yeah.
White is stuck. Even 56 seconds should be enough here for Magnus Carlsen.
MVL wins again.
Unstoppable.
Yeah. I'm a little unsure what happened in that game at the end, actually. We'll have to have a little bit of a look if we could get that towards the end, because it didn't seem like you ran out of time there. Oh, wait, no. It was just a position.
Looks like there was a bit of a breakthrough for MVL just before the end. But, in the meantime, Magnus has closed the door. There's going to be all sorts of checks and checkmates soon. Just blocks the white pawns first of all, doesn't need to change the status quo. There's some checks at the bottom of the board. There's diagonal checks which look quite effective in these types of positions. And the b pawn is running. You can start pushing it. 3 squares from touchdown. Ooh, Magnus. No, he didn't miss this move.
You can actually just take on g3. Here, the king finds a safe home on h5, and black has mating threats. But there's many ways.
Hikaru with his 3rd draw in a row.
Oof.
And that's surprising. But I mean, we're talking single-digit amount of games in this format that actually ends up in draws.
Yeah, I mean, Christmas is a time for sharing. So those draws, sharing, carrying, and Minh Le, so angry at himself, resigns. But it was a lost position.